Welcome back, guys, to another Destiny 2 build video. Now, I know I have been gone for a while. I was sick for about 3 weeks, and then we had the holidays, and I have been now trying to find the energy to make another video. And I've had this footage for about 3 weeks now, and I finally been able to get to use it. So, it might be just a slight bit dated, but you know what? The information is still pretty valid. I will say that the background gameplay definitely does not make the build look as good as it actually is. I just kind of was trying to farm some dares and I wanted to get some background footage, and I didn't even. My brain just didn't even comprehend the fact that it was going to be a bad combination of choices, but here we are. I'm going to use that footage anyways, but the build's really fun. I enjoy it. We're going to do a PvE Shatterdive build for Hunters, and the reason we are doing this is because Bungie has increased the detonation damage versus PvE combatants by 60% and increased the crystal detonation radius from 6 meters to 8 meters on the glacier, on the stasis crystals, which means that the crystals formed by the glacier grenade will do more damage when shattered. I've been abusing this on my Titan, as if you have watched other D2 build videos about stasis Titans lately, you'll know that they're pretty broken right now. It's actually really fun. The other reason is because they increase the damage versus PvE frozen combatants by 100% with the Shatterdive. This will allow combatants who are frozen but not in range of your glacial grenade, or even frozen by it, will still take more damage and end up usually, being shattered. Um, Now, the stasis class setup, that we're working with here is obviously Shatterdive. Activate in midair to quickly descend and shatter nearby targets on impact. This is the base behind the entire build. You need this. This is the one thing that I will say you absolutely need, because it is Shatterdive build. You need Shatterdive. It can be extremely lethal and high-end content. I accidentally took this into Devil's Lair GM without even thinking about it, and it actually Shatterdive performed really well in there. I was actually pleasantly surprised. I was like, oh, I have Shatterdive on, boys. We're gonna have to go back to orbit. And I was like, you know what? Actually, let's run this one, and we actually got it done faster than normal. Um, and then we're gonna take Grim Harvest. Defeating slowed or frozen combatants create stasis shards. These shards grant melee energy when picked up by you or your allies. This is useful when it comes to the other fragments we're gonna pair with this, as well as getting melee energy back. Use your shurikens, spread more slow and freeze targets. You could, if you're not going to use anything to do with stasis shards, um, you could use the other aspect, which is like the Winter's whatever, the one that changes your grenades. That could also be really helpful. And now the fragments we're going to use are Whisper of Fissures. Increase the damage and size of the burst of stasis when you destroy a stasis crystal or defeat a frozen target. This allows you to get more out of your Shatterdive and your Glacier Grenade combo, allowing you to get more out of it. Not only just some damage, but also you're gonna have a little more range on that shatter, which is really nice. And then we're gonna take Whisper of Shard. Shattering a stasis crystal temporarily boosts your grenade recharge rate. Shattering additional stasis crystals increase the duration of this benefit. Also gives plus 10 resilience. This is going to be used to help keep your Glacier Grenade up. Glacier Grenades have a really long cooldown now with the dynamic cooldowns, and this is going to help you get your grenade back, along with some other things we have later in the video. Next, we have Whisper of Conduction. Nearby stasis shards tracked to your position. Also gives plus 10 resilience and intellect. This will make it so you don't have to really focus on running to your stasis shards. It's going to make it so that they come to you, which is really nice for the next fragment, which is Whisper of Rhyme. Collecting a stasis shard grants a small amount of overshield, which falls off after 10 seconds. Collecting additional shards adds to the overshield and refreshes the timer. This is huge for survivability. Being a little more tanky, it'll also allow you to play super aggressive with your Shatterdive, because you're going to throw your Glacier Grenade, you're going to Shatterdive, you're going to pick up the shards that you're going to make from the enemies that are caught in your Glacier Grenade, and you're going to get an overshield from that, which is pretty nice. As a hunter, most hunters are pretty squishy. I run my hunter at a higher resilience because that's just what I do. Now we're going to look at armor mods. we're going to take Explosive Well Maker. Rapidly defeating combatants with explosive damage spawns a solar elemental well. For whatever reason, combatants defeated by the shattering of the stasis crystal counts as being defeated by explosive damage. So by defeating them with your glacier grenade, you can spawn solar wells, which is huge. Like, that's really big for a few things that we're going to have working for us here. The next armor mod that I took was Bountiful Wells. Elemental well mods that cause you to spawn elemental wells now stack, spawning additional wells for each missional mod that you have equipped. This will allow Explosive Well Maker to make 2 solar wells when you get them to spawn, which will allow the next 2 mods to function really, 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 really well. One of those being Well of Ordnance. Picking up a solar elemental well grants you additional grenade energy. Multiple copies of this mod multiplies the effect. This will allow your grenade to come back even faster in combination with burst shards. But picking up the 2 solar wells that you will now spawn, you'll get about half your grenade back before the cooldown starts, and then you have increased cooldown from Whisper of Shards, which will allow you to get your Glacier Grenade back even faster. And then finally, we're going to take Elemental Charge. Become charged with light by picking up Elemental Well. If the Elemental Well's element type matches your subclass, you gain 2 charge with stacks of light. So this is another reason for Bountiful Wells. We're not matching subclass types. We're not matching stasis to stasis. We're going solar to stasis. Which will allow you now to pick up 2 of those solar wells that you're going to make with Explosive Well Maker with Bountiful Wells, and you're going to have 2 stacks of charge with light, and you can spend that however you want to spend it. I use Protective Light. While charged with light, you gain significant damage resistance against combatants when your shields are destroyed. This effect consumes all stacks of charge with light. The more stacks consumed, the longer the effect. I use this. It's very nice to have in higher tier content, or just in general to help you keep alive. Adds to your survivability, but you can use whatever charge with light mods you wish to use, or even stack, more Well of Ordnance mods to get your grenade back even faster. Some stuff that I used with this build that really, really helped is I had a Peace Bond with Headstone. This will allow you to make more stasis crystals to shatter, to get your solar wells and your fragments to work more often. You can use anything with Headstone. You can use either the Peace Bond, the Vulpecula, or even the IS Luna that came out with the 30th anniversary dungeon that also has Headstone, which is really helpful. Peace Bond is probably my new favorite weapon for any stasis build. Zephyr, the new stasis sword that was from the Dawning event with the new perk code Steel. Which states, powered hits apply stacks of slow. First of all, powered attack is not your heavy attack. I've seen a lot of other YouTubers and people misread that. Powered attack is when your melee energy is full. Like when you pull your sword out and your melee is replaced by that sword symbol, that is your sword energy. And as long as that is full, you will be able to apply stacks of slow. So it's actually the opposite. Your heavy attack will apply it, but then your light swings will not be able to apply the slow stack, which is, arguably getting the slow stacks is probably more important because you can also proc your stasis fragments. Grim Harvest, Diamond Lance on the Titans, Ice Flare Bolts on the Warlocks. This will allow you to use your stasis, shards, whispers, fragments, all that stuff will proc off of the Cold Steel perk, which is really, really nice. If you didn't get a Dawning Sword, that kind of rough. I didn't get my God Roll, so that kind of sucks. And finally, I used Telesto for a weapon. Realistically, I just used this to deal with the Void Shields inside of Dares of Eternity, but by using it, I learned that it could also spawn Solar Elemental Wells by the explosions, which played into the build really nicely, so, that's helpful as well. And then I paired it with the Exotic Legs Frosties, which most people already do, which is why I used it. With his exotic perk Rapid Cooldown, which states increased grenade, melee, and dodge generation while sprinting. Dodging increases your sprint speed. This is super helpful because now you're going to get even more grenade back. I had my grenade up a solid 95% of the time. So between Whisper of Shards, the elemental wells that you're getting for Well of Ordnance, and now Frosties, you are almost always going to have your grenade up. And I don't remember at the time of recording this, without looking at my hunter stats. I'm pretty sure I've ran an average to slightly above average grenade cooldown, and I was getting the mech pretty frequently. It was really nice to be able to just throw a glacier grenade and throw, then Shatterdive. Um, Overall, like I said, this build is really nice. It's really fun. Just keep in mind, when you're going to use it, make sure you use it in content that's going to be helpful for. Like I said, I ran it in dares, and it wasn't performing as well as I thought it was going to, so I wasn't liking it. And then when I accidentally brought it into the GM, it performed way beyond my expectations and what I had seen it perform inside of dares. So this build is nice. Just keep in mind what content you're doing with it. It is fun. Other than that, that's it. That's all I got. I'm still a little like I'm coming right off of like being sick, so like my throat is like scratchy, congested, and whatever and whatnot. But with that being said, I hope everybody enjoyed, had a great holidays. Like, comment, subscribe, etc., etc. If you want to see certain builds, comment down below, or if you're in our Discord already, just tag me and let me know what you want to see, and I will do my best to get it done. Now, I hope everybody has a good week.